Nailed it.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com. Today, I'd like to talk to you about 5 things that I think Games Workshop is actually doing right lately. Now, I know we've been critical of them in the past in videos on here, and I wanted to address the stuff that I think they're actually doing right for hobbyists and the things that have value for the hobby. Because at the end of the day, it's all about providing value for the hobbyist to continue to get us to spend money, creating that FOMO, that fear of missing out, the perceived scarcity, and things like that, and just kind of the rule sets that are just basically consumables at this point. You know, they go out of print, they get FAQ'd so often that it's just so hard to follow along with them. The more value Games Workshop builds into their products, the more they're going to continue to keep customers, i.e. hobbyists, in the long run. At least that's what I believe. That's traditional business. Now, what they teach you in the MBA is more of what Games Workshop's doing now with all these tactics and things. But will it change? I don't know. But they are doing a lot of things right out there, which I think one of these some folks might disagree with, and I'll talk about that when we get to that point. The first thing I think they're doing right is Gaunt's Ghosts and other nostalgic releases like that. Everyone seemed pretty excited when Games Workshop rolled out the previews for the Gaunt's Ghost miniature, 6 of them at Warhammer Fest online. I forget what day it was. I think it was the Black Library. Yeah, Wednesday the 5th in May there. And there you can see the 6 figures they came out with. And this is great because a lot of people, Black Library started with Gaunt's Ghost and actually putting out or rebooting the miniatures into plastic to put those out there, I think was a good move. Another good move that they did it's kind of I guess tied into this a little bit is they immediately sold out on their site, right? So they put them back out for a made-to-order format that I think they said would be fulfilled in 4 months, which is a little bit quicker than their normal 6 month. I think it's 120 days fulfillment time on made-to-order releases. There you can see all the miniatures. Now, does that mean that they were way more popular than they thought? Probably. Even at $65, you're talking $10 a miniature here in the States. But that being said, it's cool to see this. They came out with Ephraim Stern. They came out with these guys. They put out the Demonifuse trade paperback. They came out with more editions of the Gaunt's Ghost and stuff too. Maybe perhaps in the future we'll see something for Blood Quest because Leonidas was a really cool character and from back in the day, and maybe we'll see something like that, or even some of the Lone Wolf stuff even from Black Library. But I think either way, producing these nostalgic releases, even if they're not part of their main line and they may not carry them, but if they do sell out, offering them again as made to order, I think is a really cool feature and a really cool thing from Games Workshop, and definitely one of the things they're doing right in 2021. My number 4 pick, of course, we're counting backwards to the big top one, is the re-release, or at least the new release status of Be'lakor. When Games Workshop announced that the Caradon Book 2, I think Act of Fire, would be coming out, a lot of people were like, well, that's great. I can get rules for Be'lakor, but I can't get Be'lakor because they were limited or allocated or capped, whatever you want to call it, to 2 per store. So what GW did, totally solid to everyone, was they re-released it as a new release. And why it's not a new release, obviously it came out already a couple months ago. The new release status means that stores would get that same week. And that's super important because restock orders are running, 2 to 3 weeks right now here in the States. So for folks able to get this, and GW didn't really have a cap on it. I know stores that got 10. I know stores that got 15. I know stores that got 20. That is really dope because what's the point of putting out a set of rules if you can't get the model to play with it, especially in 40K, which is arguably more popular than Age of Sigmar. And remember, Be'lakor came out first for Age of Sigmar. So kudos to Games Workshop for actually making this model actually available, because it was going for $200+ on the secondary market, back down to its $140 retail. And I think I just checked earlier, it is still available on their site. So if you didn't get it, now is the time to strike for sure, because and you can check out our unboxing video. It's a gorgeous miniature. It goes together great. The chains are optional to assemble on it. I don't know where he is in here. I haven't gotten to him yet. But and he also pops into the base. There's little slots at the bottom too, so you don't even have to attach them to the base, and you can actually paint it separate. So a whole lot going for this miniature. Finally, one of the cornerstones of chaos and just demons in general, I suppose. Another thing that I think Games Workshop has done a good job with in recent memory is the queue. Just in time for the Dominion pre-order, which I guess didn't go so well for Games Workshop or stores, unfortunately. Overhyped, and well, nobody seemed to care that much except for the people that were playing AOS anyways, which now is a good time to actually mention that, if you're looking to get into AOS, now will be a good time, because you're probably going to see a lot of Dominion boxes reduced or, slightly less than the normal discount from your local game store, because a lot of stores just got stuck with these. After Games Workshop said there was a shipping delay, all of a sudden they were all shipped 2 weeks later to stores. And, I think they were all there the whole time at Games Workshop, and they were just trying to do that perceived scarcity sort of thing. But all that aside, the important thing here is that Games Workshop brought back the queue. They actually brought back the queue on their website a week earlier, I guess maybe as a beta test to see if they're going to roll it out and it would go well with the Dominion release. So what is the queue? Well, if you haven't been on Games Workshop, around 1 p.m. Eastern for the US launch, which it seems to be about the time that they're using it. I haven't heard of in other countries, but obviously chime in. They basically put you in a queue, and then you have 10 minutes to complete your purchase. And a lot of folks, they have been able to get those limited edition Black Library offerings, limited edition, new release offerings. And what it does is, it kind of cuts down on the scalpers and the bots and all the sort of bad things out there that people are doing to, basically get over on their fellow hobbyists, which is kind of a terrible thing. Will it stay in place? We don't know, but we saw it as late as last week as well, just for the latest release. I think, and it was, it wasn't anything that big. I think it was just the new Sigmar starter set. So that being said, I hope they keep it around, because it gives hobbyists the opportunity to get the products they need. It cuts down on the secondary market scalping, and it's just good for the hobby in general to keep this in place right around the time that things go live in the different regions across the world. We're almost to the best thing I think Games Workshop has done lately. But before we get there, I wanted to talk about a release that came out that everybody promptly forgot about because it was so popular. They had to pull the plug on it, but it is coming back next year. The Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine is probably one of the best values out there for Warhammer 40k. Fohammer broke this all down over on his website about everything you get if you do all of the issues. I think it was like $180 in total money out the door, and what you get was just a staggering value, of course. Now, each issue is about $8 US. And it was initially offered in the US, and some people got it in the US, but they had to pull the plug on it because too many people signed up. But it is coming back. They announced in 2020, or 2022, excuse me. Time is irrelevant anymore. And that is a good sign for all the hobbyists. Now, something pretty cool about it, and here you can see the complete collection. If you buy all the magazines, you buy all the stuff every month, this is basically what you'll end up with. And there was a really cool exclusive that comes in here. This Space Marine captain as well, which is pretty cool. I think his name is Decimus Felix, kind of an homage to the Gladiator and Maximus Decimus Meridius, and general of the Felix legions of the Roman Empire at the time. So definitely a cool little shout out to a movie that I think is near and dear to all of us, of course, out there. And all these issues right here, they basically have an €8.99 price. And the cost here was $16.90, I believe. So there's 80 issues. And they kind of changed the pricing, so it's really hard to tell exactly what it's going to be overall. But I do want to mention it is a good value. It gives you a lot of hobby tips. You get some brushes, you get some paints. Every issue is a little bit different, but it's all product that's come out already. So to Games Workshop, I think it's a win-win because it gives people value, it gives hobbyists value. But on the flip side, it's not taking away from anything they're doing right now, because this is all, like I said, previously released product. It has hit the end of its product for the most part, unless new hobbyists are getting into it. So to offer it up like this, it's basically a win-win for both parties, I feel like. And I can't wait to see what the total final, value versus, cost on this thing is, but I'm sure it's definitely gonna be worth checking out. And the best thing that I think Games Workshop is doing right now is Warhammer Plus. Before you turn the video off, just hear me out. So there was some big reveals on June 23rd about what Warhammer Plus is going to be exactly and all the benefits to it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think for the $5.99 US, it's literally a no-brainer. If you are a Warhammer hobbyist, you should sign up for this. And if you sign up for a year at a time, and I think you'll get your choice of one of these miniatures, either this Vindicare Assassin or this Orruk Warboss guy right here. And I think you can buy them separately, or you don't have to wait the whole year. I figured exactly what they said, but more on that when it goes live in August. So they're basically spending an extra 2 months to get it all right. And then here's all the stuff you get. Like, you're going to get the Warhammer Vault, which is going to have all sorts of lore and stuff in it. Older publications that you can go back and read because, maybe you want to find out about all the stuff that happened, with Guilliman coming back or something like that. The free miniatures, of course, all the animations. We've seen like 12 of them already previewed that are coming out. The apps. The new Sigmar app, which is in beta currently, and the Warhammer 40k app, which previously cost $5.99. So now for $5.99, you get all this stuff. Exclusive shows, which we don't know too much about, and event extras. I guess when you go to actual GW tournaments and GW events, I don't know, maybe they're bringing back Games Day or something like that. Who knows what they're really up to, I guess, at that point. But again, always vote with your hobby dollars when it comes to their actual events, because, they have restrictions, which is their right because it's their event. My house, my rules. I get that. And I get that, but, if you have an all third-party army or some 3D printed components and, maybe you don't want to go. Again, I think a lot of that is on a case-by-case basis. If it's a little egregious or over the top, the majority of the case, they're not going to even probably notice, to be quite honest with you. And here they mentioned that the Age of Sigmar app is in beta, which was really cool of them because we all know what happened when the 40k app came out. It was a shit show. And they basically pulled out a finished product, charged us for a finished product, and gave us a beta product. Well, mostly an alpha product. So them coming out the gate and being upfront about that, I feel like there's too many memes on the screen. It's just freaking me out. I can't do that. I think that was pretty good and solid on Games Workshop. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, did you hear about all the IP stuff? Hey, did you hear about all these trademarks? They're going after the animators. Animators can't make stuff. And you know what? I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit, because if you don't police your IP, your IP is worthless. The same thing happened when Slytherin or whoever makes all those Blood Bowl games for the video consoles and online and Steam and stuff. They came down hard on all of the third-party content for Blood Bowl out there. Sure, the INAT they do all the rules and stuff, but a lot of people forget that that was the thing too. And the reason it was because you can't license something if you're not out there protecting your IP. And obviously they're trying to produce these things. They've mentioned and they've tried to hire a lot of animators out there, and they were successful in a lot of them. And well, we know there was some drama with one of them recently as well, and he's probably not going to end up working for them. I think in business, business goes both ways. You don't hear from somebody, follow up with them. I do that a lot, and people follow up with me because I miss emails myself. I don't really ignore anybody at all, unless you're just a crazy person. Then I might ignore you. But we haven't had that issue yet. Anyways, I think Warhammer Plus is probably one of the best things Games Workshop has ever done, and definitely think about subscribing to this if it's looking good and if it's worth your hobby dollars in August. So that is the top 5 things that I think Games Workshop is doing right, at least recently in 2021. Yes, we point out things that we don't agree with, but at the end of the day, remember that we all have the power to vote with our hobby dollars and where we spend it, and also what we just buy with it in general. And if we want to change anything about what Games Workshop is doing for the Warhammer hobby that we are also very passionate about, it literally is the easiest thing to do is deciding where you swipe your card or spend your cash. So just keep that in mind when you're going to buy stuff, you know, for the foreseeable future, I suppose. I need everybody's help now, because, you know, I promised that I was going to talk about the things Games Workshop is doing right, and I have. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast coming up with the top 5 throughout the week, and just kind of thinking about how I was going to present it to everybody. But what would you like to see? What would you like to see me talk about? I'm a 30+ year veteran of the hobby. I've seen a lot. I'd like to think I know a lot about the hobby. And, you know, what are you curious about? Like, business wise, hobby wise, how to open a game store, what game store should be doing? Do you own a game store? Do you want to own a game store? Like, things like that. Let me know what you're thinking, because I have a lot to say. Probably a little too much if you ask my video editor, and I wouldn't mind making more of these videos about it. So I've got a basic list of some stuff I want to cover over the next couple of months, video wise, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. So thank you very much for watching and listening. Please make sure you subscribe to us and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to like and comment on all our future videos.